day, Doc. This is AVS Pescadero, one of your students in Organizational and Behavioral Development.
Doc, before I officially start the video, I do apologize for the background noises and for the audio as well if my voice is not that loud. I am currently not at home and I am having some difficulties at home. I really do hope that you will understand. Thank you so much, Doc. And despite of those challenges, I am still doing this video because I wanted to share what I work on, what are my notes about the topic that you provided to us. Organizational development is a study of successful organizational change and performance. So OD emerged from human relations studies in the 1930s, during which psychologists realized that organizational structure and processes influence worker behavior and motivation. More recently, work on OD has expanded for or to focus on alignment organizations which their rapidly changing and complex environments through organizational learning, management, and transformation of organizational norms and values. So key concepts of OD learning includes organizational climate, the mood of unique personality of an organization, which includes attitudes and beliefs that influences members, collective behavior, organizational culture, the deeply seated norm, values, and behavior that members share, and organizational strategies. So the organization development emerges. It started in Kurt Lewin in the year 1898 to 1947. So within this year, it is widely recognized for the father of the, or the considered father of the organizational development is Kurt Lewin. Although he died before the concept became current, which is way back 1960s. In the mid-1950s, from Lewin came the idea of group dynamic and action research, which underpinned the basic organizational development process as well as providing its collaborative consultants client ethos. Institutionally, Lewin founded the Research Center for Group Dynamic at MIT, which moved to Michigan after his death. RCGD colleagues were among those who founded the National Training Laboratory, from which the T group or the training group and group-based organizational development emerges. There are lots of focus as to how they aim the changes in an organization. So the first focus is the social process. It involves helping organization improve social processes including relationship among members, communication, group decision making, and leadership. The next one is the work design. This branch of organizational development history involves designing work to make it more motivating and fulfilling. In 1960s, employees complained that work was boring and meaningless. Organizations experience growing problems with absenteeism, turnover, quality, and low productivity. So we sought remedies for these problems in new work design that were more geared to employees' needs and aspiration than to traditional designs. So these interventions were based on the work of Eric Truss and his colleague. And the third one is human resources. It involves integrating people into organizations so they join, remain, and produce at high levels. So all these interests in human resource practice grow rapidly. Many organizations face serious global competition for the first time. They needed to produce a higher level at lower cost. This place heavy demands on human resources to achieve exceptional performance. However, organizations increasingly question whether this traditional human resource practice were up to the task. Answers to this question show that many practices were not performance driven, particularly in the way organization rewarded employees because people should only do those things for which they are rewarded. Unfortunately, way back before, they are not rewarded based on their performance, but based on their duties, schedules, or working hours. Under human resources, gain sharing was developed. It involves paying organization member a bonus based on measurable gain in performance over some baseline standard. It also includes skill-based pay. Skill-based pay basically addresses the skills an employee have. So people became motivated to acquire new skills so that they will receive a higher pay than they previously had. Some of the benefits of the organizational development are the following. First is it increases the level of interpersonal trust among employees. Employees will feel appreciated since the organization is doing something that helps them exceed their limits and looks positively on their career by motivating them and giving them what they deserve. Second is it increases employees' level of satisfaction and commitment. The employees feel satisfied and happy when they are rewarded and motivated. Thus, they tend to be loyal to their employers. Third is if effectively manage conflict, it is a good way of sorting things and organizational problem solving. And fourth is making individuals in the organization aware of the vision of the organization. So organizational development helps in making employees align with the vision of the organization. And it ensures health and well-being of organization and employees. It also facilitates learning and development. It increases effectiveness and lastly, organizational development initiate and or manage change. It support adaptation to change such as the technological change, the challenge for the social change as well as human resources. So there are lots of factors as to which the organizational development plays a vital role of organizational development practitioner. So the overall goal of the organizational development practitioner is to assist their client in exponentially increasing the efficiency and effectiveness of their organizations, employees, the performance of their employees, and utilizing various strategies and methodologies. Due to this factor, and important role of an organizational development practitioners will be assisting the client in conducting a situational analysis, which would help the client to ascertain the present level of effectiveness and efficacy of the organization which their given environment, as well as what needs to be done in order to start the process of improving organizational efficiency and effectiveness. This will entail ascertaining the internal and external environment conditions that are affecting the performance of the organization as well as the employees and developing the means by which to make the organization more efficient in functioning within its particular environmental or market conditions. This would not only entail analyzing business processes and procedures in order to determine what needs to be done in order to make them more effective and efficient, but also analyzing the human resources within the organization in order to ascertain what practices and or procedures needs to take place in order to improve the morale as well as the efficiency and effectiveness of staff members in completing their organizational duties to fully achieve the organizational goal and for the organization to be successful. So the entry or entering and contracting are the initial steps in the organizational development process. They involve defining in a preliminary manner the organization's problem or opportunities for development and establishing a collaborative relationship between the organizational development practitioner and member of the client system about how to work on those steps. So, an organizational development process generally starts when a member of an organization or in unit contacts an organizational development practitioner about potential help in addressing an organizational issue. So the starting point is the initiation or if there is a connection between the client and the organizational development practitioner. And what is the organizational development diagnosis or diagnostic? So the organizational development diagnosis is an effective way of looking at an organizational to determine gaps between current and desired performance and how it can achieve its goals. So somehow it is a mirror for them to see where they are at. And in recent years, organizational diagnosis has evolved from a technique used as part of the organizational development process to a major technique in its own right. Effective diagnosis should be an organic process in that as you start to look at an organization and its structure and what it does and does not do. Change starts as change progress, so does the now performance, and as such the diagnosis process also needs to restart. The purpose of a diagnosis is to identify problems facing the organization and to determine their causes so that management can plan solutions. So, for example, in an organization doing some operation or in the focus is the operation process. So doing a organizational diagnosis would help the organization point out what steps, strategies, or techniques that they can do. Or what is organizational development interventions? So, organizational development interventions are the building block which are planned activities designed to improve the organization's functioning through the participation of the organizational members. So, organizational development interventions include team building, team development, laboratory training. It includes various steps and processes depending as to what or depending as to what its objective, because we have three approach where we can alter or change or develop an organization. So those are the people approach or the humanistic approach, the structural approach, and the technological approach. So if we will focus on the people or humanistic approach. So one of the intervention that we can do is the sensitivity training, survey feedback. So those are just some of the example. While for the structural approach, we can do job rotation, delayering, job enrichment, and etc. If we are going to alter or change in another option, so we have the technological approach. It focuses on automated and computerization of office procedures. So it different for the intervention that the organizational development practitioner will advise would differ as to what's the subject or what he or she or the company needs to change or alter. Lastly, about sustaining change. Sustaining change is an intervention as well. So it truly takes root in an organization. When achieved, sustainable change helps an organization move from making conscious efforts to change to establishing a new accepted way of doing business. Furthermore, sustainable change can feed in itself, thus creating the continuous improvement most have given up on as an academic dream. How can you capture sustainable change in your business? Well, believe it or not, it is quite attainable if efforts are made to put 5 fundamental prerequisites in place prior to launching a program for change. By doing so, the odds that your efforts will achieve the desired impact increase attention. So I've also read the organizational development based model by Lewins, and he pointed out the 3 P's. I can apply this in sustaining change. So first is the unfreezing, wherein there is something that needs to be changed. Next is moving. So you are moving from the old format to the new format, and the last one is freezing, committing to change. So those phase is applicable as well in sustaining change. Thank you, Doc. Once again, this is AVS Pescadero, one of your students in organizational and behavioral development.